talk a little bit about, again, we're talking about this morning in another conversation I was having about how do you make those good decisions, right? It's all about the data. I think one of the things that I've been hearing a lot lately, I think we've been saying too, is like the data becomes an asset. So Steve, talk a little bit about what you see with data and how does data impact those decision making? How does it impact IFS, the ERP, and in terms uh, of responding to these new challenges that we have?
Well, again, another great question, but the data that we're talking about is foundational, really. And one of the things I'm seeing in businesses is some businesses really know what their data is. They have control over the data. They have ownership of it. And the whole life cycle of that data is nurtured, maintained, and it's seen as a critical asset so that you can use that data to make good informed decisions. Other companies, I do see that there are challenges that they don't have master data management principles in place. And so the data is either good at the start and then deteriorates very quickly, and therefore is not reliable, right? So people who are looking after that data as an asset, and especially when we're talking about engineering data integrated into manufacturing facilities, using that data for real-time scenario planning means it needs to be accurate, right? It needs to be well maintained. And obviously we can then use that information for scenario planning and tariff forecasting. So this is where that sort of data quality really comes in. Integrated data visibility across departments as well. So instead of there being silos in organizations where there's some good bits of data and then there's some very poor data, if you're looking across the whole supply chain and manufacturing, and you're looking at demand and supply signals, that data has to be good across the piece. So that's really important. I think leadership, the agility of leadership to make good informed decisions, it relies on that kind of data alignment. So between businesses and IT to be able to respond to these kind of external shocks. Now we saw that when the pandemic hit, we saw businesses that were really in tune with their data could make informed decisions and respond really quickly and minimize the disruption for those kind of external things. We're also seeing, like across Europe at the moment, we're seeing outages. These outages are unplanned, and we're seeing people respond to those proactively, using their data and using their experience. Um, we're also seeing other companies not responding quickly to these kind of external shocks, which will obviously massively impact their business. So I think people being risk aware and having sourcing policies which are looking at these contingencies and risks that are associated out there will allow them to have a structured process for assessing and responding to those exposures, really, which are sometimes unplanned. And I think investment in training and system literacy is also a real big thing that people should be focusing on. Making sure all of their teams are empowered and that they can adapt to processes independently, again, is another key. But it all comes down to that real success of manufacturing companies to make sure that the data is seen as an asset, and that the processes that follow are so important. So to have a real clear understanding of what those processes are, that they're mapped, that people understand the sort of value stream, and also the roles involved in those processes. So look, using some basic things like swim lane analysis of who are the different interdepartmental processes, who are the owners of them, and where does that process get optimized and add significant value. All of these things really, I think, are really important in terms of data quality and process alignment.
I want to get Dylan in here. Dylan, you worked with a lot of companies in integration, but also you worked in industry. What do you see as the biggest impact of data errors?
Yeah, so the biggest thing with data errors when, specifically around my experience as a manufacturing engineer and, having production work orders on the shop floor, running into where potentially, incorrect part got entered on a bill of material or quantities were wrong, and the with those errors, the issues that can come up with overproducing items or having the wrong part, and then that the correct part wasn't sourced. So now we're causing a delay in production because we don't have the correct items on the shop floor to produce the products that we need to.
Those are good insights. I talked a little bit about a lot what Steve was saying, and how do we make those good decisions without that good data?
Well, I'll answer that question, but there's a couple of points from the previous question I just wanted to make and emphasize really. So in terms of that quality of that data and those processes, obviously what we're looking to is improve the forecast accuracy, which is one of the points Dylan made. That gives us better procurement planning. It makes us responsive to production planning by updating the bombs and routings and making sure that all of that data is right. It gives us better and clear financial reporting. So reliable data ensures we have real-time visibility of margins, and it makes us fast, confident decision making by the leadership. So I wanted just to round off those points from the previous question, Jeff.